Hello everyone, welcome back to Iron World Innovations channel. Once again, here we are with another project, and this time we are coming with the patch management. If you guys know what patch management is well and good, and if you don't know, then I will teach you. So today, this is what we will be covering. First is introduction, then the importance of the patch management at the University of the Utah Hospital, and it can also be at the any industry or the any hospital. Then we will go with the patch management at the University of Utah Hospital, then the benefits of the patch management, then technology used at the University of Utah Hospital, and then the conclusion. So first thing is introduction. So what is patch management? Patch management is maintaining the cybersecurity at the University of the Utah Hospital or any industry. As I mentioned right now, I'm just covering the University of the Utah Hospital as we are developing the patch management over there. So what we do in the patch management, first we identify the vulnerability, then we uh, we see what vulnerability has the priority, most priority. Then we make update version of the system updates which has the patch and which is used to mitigate the vulnerabilities. Then we test it on the separate environment so it does not affect our ongoing operations. Then we deploy the patch update on the system at the network, so all the vulnerabilities are mitigates. And then we verify it that if our patch management system is working properly and the whatever the patch we have deployed is working correctly. Then the last step is monitoring our network and the systems. I will be talking about this in a depth in a minute. So after this, it comes to the importance of the patch management. Why we want patch management at our industry? First thing is protecting data. Over here, I'm just taking the example of University of Utah Hospital. That's why I have written down as a protecting patients' data. So it ensures the confidentiality and the integrity of the sensitive information of patients. Then, staying compliant, adhering to the healthcare regulations such as HIPAA to maintain legal and ethical standards. Then, keeping operations running smoothly, which means if we found any vulnerabilities in our network or the system, if someone used that vulnerability to attack us, then our operation could be destroyed or stopped. In both scenario, it is a big problem for us. And building trust, which means if we regularly patch our system and the networks, then the stakeholders and the patients will believe that our system is up to date and their data is safe. So this is how we build the trust among us. Then saving money, yes, of course, if you solve the problem, a small problem, then you will saving the more money. As if you get attacked by someone and they might ask you for the more money, instead of if we why not we just solve the problem in the early stage. So here how the patch management at the University of Utah Hospital works. First, identification of the vulnerability. As I mentioned, this is similar as the patch management steps. So first thing, we will find out what are the vulnerabilities are there on the network and the system. Then vulnerability, okay, let me explain you what the vulnerabilities are. Vulnerabilities are the weaknesses on the network of the system that are used by attackers to attack the network of the systems. Then the second step is prioritize of patches. So not all the vulnerabilities has the same effect on the network or the system. So we have to determine which patches we should deploy first. So this is how we do it. Then the testing, as I mentioned, we cannot just directly deploy our solution on the network as we don't know what can be the outcome of it. It might also disrupt the ongoing operations as well. So we have a separate environment. We are using that one to test our patched version of the system or the network, so we can make sure that the whatever it means to do it, do it or else we will try to rebuild the patch update again. Then the deployment. So this is in this phase we roll out the update version or the roll update version, I'm sorry, update version and the patch version. We roll out on the systems and the networks. This is how we install it. In this field phase we install the patch and the updated version on the systems and the networks. And there is verification. After deploying the updated version, we have to make sure that it is running smoothly, it is not affecting the ongoing operations, or it does not change how the system should work, or else it is going to be a big problem for us to handle because it might disrupt all the services and the network. Once the verification is done, so before going to the next step, let me tell you that the verification is the most important and the last part of the patch management for the among the most important steps. Why? Because verification can assure that the R patched version is working correctly. then then this is basically the monitoring and maintenance, the last step. uh, as I mentioned, verification is the most important last step, but monitoring and maintenance is working 24/7, as we have to monitor our network and system, is there any vulnerabilities are there or not. So this we can say that this is the last step of the patch management, but as this is happening 24/7, so it always happens. Then the benefits of the patch management. First, enhance the patient's data security, which means we can provide the more security on the patient's data. Then compliance with the healthcare and regulations, as we know that if any unwanted event happen, if someone attacks us and if that person manipulate our operations, so we have to maintain that our operations falls under the regulations of the healthcare. If not, we have to roll out new patches that do exactly what it needs to do. Then the continuous operations and stability, as I mentioned, if any bug happens on the network, if we roll out the patches and update it, then we can make sure that operations are going smoothly. And next step is next benefit, if I correct, that the protection against the target attacks. Yes, as I mentioned that if there is a vulnerability they can attack, but if we are monitoring our system and the network and then we found the vulnerability, we can roll out the new patch and we can just close that vulnerability. So one benefit of the patch is not only the continuous operations but also protecting the systems against attacks. Then preservation of reputations and trust. If you remember, I have mentioned that the uh, if we protect our data, if using the patch management, patients and the stakeholder will trust us. This is how we build a trust among the stakeholders and the patients. So this is what it says: preservation of reputation and the trust. Then cost efficiency and the risk mitigations. I have also mentioned that it saves money. Yes, that is it. It is cost efficiency because instead of paying someone to when someone attacks, I'm sorry, when someone attacks and then we have to pay them ransom to recover our data. Instead, what if we just make update our system and then we roll out the update and then we secure our network. So uh, we can mitigate that risk. So this is how we can also save the money and also mitigate the risk. Okay, so this is the technology we are using at the each step of the patch management at the University of Utah Hospital. So in the first step, identification of the vulnerability, we are using Tenable.io and the Snort. So Tenable.io is for identification of the vulnerability. with the help of Snort as well. In the second step, it is a prioritization of the patches. For that, we are using Microsoft Endpoint Configuration Manager. As you all know, that Microsoft provide a good support to the customers. Then, for the testing, we are using SolarWind Manager and the Puppet. Both are good, but both have different functionalities. So we are using few from the SolarWinds Patch Managers and the few from the Puppet. And then the deployment. For the deployment, we are using also that, as you said, that Puppet is in the both stage, because it provides also the testing features and also the deployment features. So few features we are using for the testing and few features we are using for the deployment. And with the Puppet, we are also using AWS System Manager. And as you, if you are not aware what AWS is, it is Amazon's cloud service. Then the verification. For the verification, we are using event patch and the PowerShell script. So event patch verifies if our patch version is working correctly, and to automate that, if I say the procedure, if we want to automate that procedure, we use PowerShell script. Then the last step is monitoring and the maintenance. For that, we are using PDQ deploy, which help us monitor our network system and also help us to maintain it. And here's the conclusion. In the conclusion, I would like to say that the patch management plays a vital role in the safeguarding the University of the Utah's hospitals in cyber infrastructures. As I have mentioned, that patch management is very important thing in any industry or the organization, as it saves a lot of money. Also it protects the data, and also, as I have mentioned, that it builds a trust among the employee people, patients, stakeholders, and many more people. uh, Through proactive identification, prioritization, testing, deployment, verification, and ongoing monitoring of the patches, the hospital ensure continuous protection against cyber threat. This comprehensive approach not only enhances patients' data security and regulatory compliance, but also foster trust among patients, staff, and stakeholders. By prioritizing patch management, the hospital can uphold its commitment to providing high quality healthcare services while mitigating risk and preserving its reputation in the healthcare industry. By all this means, if I say it in short, so by using the patch management at the hospital is providing top-notch security to the patient's data, and also it also patch management also helping hospital to maintain its reputations among all the organizations. So yes, patch management helps a lot in various way to the industry or the organizations. And yes, this is done. Thank you for being with us today, and I hope you like it. If you have any questions, please comment below, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Please like, share, and subscribe. We will see you in the next video.